Hey, what's up? This is Václav again. Today I have something great for you. Let me present to you what I think is the most natural and reliable room light automation. I created a blueprint that I'm sharing with you. It's based on 4 components that control the lights in a way that seems so natural that you don't even think about that, which I think should be the aim for any automation. So it uses the door sensor in the room to get an instant trigger that someone is entering or leaving the room. The light states from the room and the corridor before the room, and then the presence inside the room. Now, previously I was using a motion sensor inside the room. It was kind of working, but the problem with that was it detects a motion, not presence. So it will keep turning inactive when you stop moving. So it can't be used directly to turn the lights off, because as soon as you stop moving, the lights will go off. It'll be quite annoying. This is why I use that in a combination with the door sensor. When I opened the door, it triggered the automation that had 2 branches for entering the room. So when the light on the corridor was on and the light in the room was off and there was no movement inside, it turned on the light in and it turned it off in the corridor. And then for leaving, when there was movement inside and light inside, it just turn off the light and turn it on outside. And it worked great for a single person. The problem was when a second person entered the room. When they entered, it was okay most of the time, except in the situation where someone was in the room, sleeping in the bed, I guess. The light would be off, and the motion sensor would be inactive because it wouldn't detect the sleeping person. So it would look like there was nobody in the room. So when the door was open, it will trigger the automation and it will turn the light on. The more annoying issue was when one of them would leave. As soon as they would open the door, it will detect someone was in the room, is leaving, and it would turn the light off. You can say it's just a detail, but it was so annoying that whenever someone came to the room and left, it would turn off the light and I'd have to manually turn them back on. I started to hate when people came to the office, which is not good. So I was looking for a better solution and I found one. Instead of a motion sensor, I use a presence sensor. Compared to the motion sensor, it takes a bit longer to register the presence. But that's not an issue, as I still trigger the automation by opening the door, which is instant. So when I'm coming, I will first trigger the motion sensor on the corridor and it will turn on the light in the corridor. Then when I open the door, it will turn on the light inside and turn it off outside. But when someone is present in the room, even motionless, it will leave the lights the way they are. If they were off, it will keep them off. If they were on, it will keep them on. Then, when they leave, I'd still use the door sensor to turn the light on the corridor on. It's still a bit faster than using the motion sensor outside. It will activate about a second or so later. And I only turn the light off when it stops detecting the presence inside the room. And finally, there is the light on the corridor, which will also turn off as soon as the motion sensor stops detecting the motion. There's a delay about a minute or so. It might seem like a little detail, but it makes a day and night difference in the overall experience. Before, it was rather annoying. I was almost thinking to disable it. Now it's a pure joy. It's so natural. Anyhow, so I use Aquara FP1 sensor. It is a bit more expensive than the simple motion sensor, but for me, it's not really something to compare. Similar sensor, but completely different use case. I got the sensor on AliExpress. It comes with a USB cable and a US adapter, which is something to think about. It needs to be plugged into the power all the time. Then the configuration, very simple. I use ZigBee to MQTT. So I just permit join, push the button, it gets discovered. I rename it, including the Home Assistant entities, and that's it. Then I create the automation from the blueprint. Go to the settings, automations, blueprint, and create automation. Or you can do it from the settings, automation, create automation, and select the blueprint. Pick your door sensor, light inside the room and the outside light, and finally the presence sensor, and that's it. So I'm sharing the blueprint I use. So if you have exactly the same scenario as I do, feel free to use it. But the main purpose for sharing it, for you to get started. Your configuration might be different, hopefully for better. So feel free to play with that and customize it to do whatever scenario you have. And maybe you'd come up with a better, more generic automation that will fit everyone's needs. Let me know in the comments or drop a note on my Discord channel. All the links are down below in the description. To help you with that, let me briefly walk you through the blueprint. First, let me show you the original blueprint with the motion sensor. It's a blueprint, so it has a header with the selectors for the door sensor, for the light inside and outside, and for the motion sensor. Then it is triggered by the door sensor detecting door open. I define the variables for the lights and the presence selectors, and then they are used in the automation. There is obviously a condition for this to only work at night, and I have a guest mode master switch that turns off the light automations. Then there are the two scenarios for coming in and for leaving. Coming in, that turns off the light outside and turns them on inside. And for leaving, that does the opposite. And I also set the presence off so that when I re-enter the room, before the motion sensor expires, it will turn the light on again. And I don't have to do it in the new blueprint because that one is triggered by the presence expiring, so it's actually a much cleaner solution. So the new blueprint goes like that. The header is the same, except that instead of the motion sensor, we will pick a presence sensor. But now I have two triggers. The door sensor, same as before, but newly, it also triggered by the FP1 stopping detection the presence. The conditions are the same. Then two use cases for the first trigger. For coming in, to turn on the light inside and turn off outside. And then for the leaving, but this one is only turning on the light outside. And then the second trigger that will simply turn off the light inside. That's it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.